All right, here we are in the Boundary Waters, 2019. We're here with Kevin the K-Man Kramer. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how you doing, Joe?
Oh, just fine. Glad to be out here today, and we're going to be doing Hammock Camping 101, or Hammock Camping for Joe, which is also known as Hammock Camping for Dummies who don't know anything about it because they've never done it. So
I'm not calling you a dummy, Joe.
well, I appreciate that, but I guess the point is we're here to learn how to set up a hammock in the Boundary Waters for camping purposes, which is has always interested me, and I just wanted to learn how to do it.
I should start out by saying I am not an expert by any stretch, but I've gone on several trips and I'm starting to learn. So
Great.
Well, I'll show you what I've learned so far. Anyways.
Yeah, good.
Hopefully we can get us set up here.
Okay. So what type of hammock do we have here? What are we using?
This is a War Bonnet brand hammock.
Okay.
And I have the War Bonnet Rainfly as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What's the first step then?
The first step is to hang the tree straps, and it's about, they sell wider ones too, but they're 1 to 2 inch straps width, and anywhere from 5 to 7 feet in length. And
tree strap, okay.
It's a tree strap, and what it does is it protects the tree bark. You don't want to damage the tree when you hang a hammock from it. So we start putting the tree straps on both sides, the foot side and the head side, at about eye level. And the thing about setting up a hammock is you're going to constantly have to tweak these things up to get it set up just right, because you want the feet a few inches above your head and you want it centered between the trees. So the thing is you're going to end up tweaking things up as you go here, but we'll start with the straps at about eye level.
Okay.
And by the way, Joe, this is not caused by a hammock. This was caused by somebody.
This is somebody stripping birch bark or what?
This was not us.
Yeah.
This was here
Yeah.
when we arrived, and I think somebody was stripping bark off of a live birch tree, which is a big no-no. So,
Okay.
anyway.
Good point taken. Yes. Well, anybody watching this, don't strip birch bark from a tree.
Why would you do
Makes
that?
the K-Man very angry, and it's not good for a camp, and not good for the tree, not good for anything. Start your fire somehow else.
Alright, so the next step is to pull the hammock out.
Alright, so it looks, kind of like what a tent might look like when you pull it out of a tent bag. It's that same type of material, essentially, and just a little, I guess it's same size as a tent, or that's what it's reminding me of. But it's going to be much different.
The thing about the hammock is it's got this mosquito net sewn right on the top of it. So
cool.
That's going to keep the bugs off of you. And this is the head end, and you can tell because it's got these pull-outs on the side that pull the mosquito netting away from your head. But this is a whoopee sling, and we're going to end up hooking that onto the strap. Before we do that, I have to get the marlin hitch, which is right over here.
So the ground where we're putting, the benefit of hammock camping is that, you're not going to be laying on these roots in this kind of uneven ground here for the only tent site really in this
the
campsite.
Thing about putting a tent up is you're dealing with 2-inch roots poking through the base of your tent, rocks, and you can get an air mattress, and that's it helps, but it's never going to take all that away. And I just got kind of tired of waking up in the middle of the night with a sore back and roots and rocks poking me, so that's kind of why I got into this hammocking. But
and just for transparency for our viewers here, Kevin has also established another hammock campsite right over here, which was perfect because there's nothing but boulders and hard rock over there. Okay, before we get into it, let's take a brief moment and we'll be right back. Alright, first tree strap is up, and what you got going here now?
Okay, so this is a marlin hitch. So this is a tree strap. I'm putting a marlin hitch on the strap so that I can attach my hammock to that.
And just for our viewers, We just had to go catch a smallmouth here, so
Slight interruption.
thanks for your patience.
Bobber down, fish on.
So okay, there's that, and then
So
now you mentioned tie it to the knot. That jumped out at me as I
Right.
thought you'd be attaching it to this actual instrument
if you can
here.
see that, we put the marlin hitch through this loop, but there's actually a knot there. You put the whoopee sling around the knot. And this
Okay.
whoopee sling is kind of nice because it allows you to make quick adjustments to the length depending on how far your trees are apart.
Okay.
It's called a whoopee sling. There's a number of different types of attachments and ways to hang your hammock, but this is just one way, and this is the way that I was kind of shown. I learned almost everything that I've learned about hammock camping from a guy named Shug. He's got this this YouTube channel, and he's done hundreds of YouTube videos on hammock, and he's the expert.
Okay, so this is
S-H-U-G. Go check it out.
Okay.
Shug.
all right, cool. And this is just an intro, like we said, 101 for Boundary Waters hammock camping. So you can always email us on the podcast, and we can get you in touch with Kevin, or we'll do our best to answer you too. But BWCA podcast at gmail.com if you have any questions about what you see here on the video. So all right, now repeat over here what you just did there. Bada bing.
Just a loop. Pull it tight. Marlin hitch through it.
Very good.
Make that knot. We're going to go the whoopee sling around the knot.
And we're up. This is now off the ground here. The hammock is now hanging, as you can see, between these two trees here at the campsite.
Just tightening it up a little bit. Notice the foot side is just a few inches higher than the head side. Now we're going to pull out these little...
And not much, not so that blood would flow to your brain, but just so that you're not sliding in the hammock. That's
Right.
the idea there.
And like I said, you're laying almost flat in there. Once you get inside there, we'll show that later. But you're laying kind of about 20 degrees crossways on that,
Good.
on the hammock, and you're almost flat. Got a little tangle here, Joe.
That's all right. So now you want to kind of, what's the next step here for the hammock as far as it's hanging now, but you want to get it a little more supported even than this, or secure, or what's the next step here, I guess?
The next step is to pull out these side pull-outs. There's a little shelf in there to lay your things in, and this, if you pull these out, it keeps the mosquito net away from your head. Joe, we're gonna have to cut out here for a second because I got a major knot going on right here.
All right. Well, I'll go check the bobbers. We'll be back. All right, we're back here, and the knot is untied. Bobbers are still up doing their thing. Leeches swimming around in the Boundary Waters here, setting up a hammock. And so now we're tying out some guy lines. Is that what's happening here?
So these guy lines are attached to a couple pull-outs on the hammock, and they pull the mosquito netting away from your head, and they also pull this little shelf out. This shelf's kind of handy to store things. You can store your flashlight or a book or your reading glasses or whatever in there while you're in the hammock. There's plenty of storage in there. It's actually kind of nice to have that.
So there's a little more space in the hammock than some
people might realize.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right,
well, we'll
Doc.
check that out in a minute because we want to actually see you get into this hammock once you've got it put up, and we've got a few other steps to finish here before you could do that. But it's starting to look, this is the shape. This is what it is here. Is now taking form, as you can see, and you're just tying it down. And we're gonna talk about the rain fly here in a moment too, because that's an essential step, especially on a day like this. We've had some rain here today. You ever go through a storm in a hammock here?
I have been through a storm in a hammock, and it held up really well.
Cool.
I weathered a deadly storm in the Boundary Waters several years ago on a solo trip in my hammock, and I didn't get a drop of rain in there. It held up pretty well. I actually ended up getting out of the hammock in the heart of the storm just to kind of watch for falling branches and falling trees. But as far as inside the hammock, dry as a bone.
Cool.
All right, so this is pretty much all set up the way it is. We just have to put the rain fly over the top. You can see there's plenty of room in there.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna have an Exhibit A here in just a moment, but let's talk about the rain fly. I mean, we were gonna include that because it's an essential part when you're in the boundary waters. You basically should not try to go hammock camping if you don't have the rain fly.
You need a rain fly over the top of it. And so this is another war bonnet brand. Mamba Jamba, I think, is the name, the model of this particular rain fly, but they've got several different models. And so it's pretty simple. A rain fly is a rain fly. You just put it over the top to the same trees. The center line goes to the same trees that the hammock is hanging from, and then there's just a guideline out on each corner.
And this is what, a trucker's hitch that you use?
Trucker's hitch. That's what I use.
Yeah, to tie up the rain fly to the tree.
Yep, to keep it nice and taut.
And then just use guy lines to tie it. So, like you're saying, a rain fly is a rain fly. This is something a lot of people use over their camp. If it was raining, they still wanted to have a fire. There's nothing necessarily universal, but it fits perfect for this hammock.
This one is actually specifically designed for hammock camping, but you could use any rain fly over the top of your hammock.
Okay, beautiful. Well, let's see what it looks like when you actually get inside a hammock for those. Now, you're going to put a sleeping bag in there, or what?
So in hammocking, you could use a sleeping bag and a tent pad, like a normal pad that you'd use inside a tent. But what they've gone to now in hammocking is an overquilt and an underquilt. So this is an overquilt. It's just basically a sleeping bag without a bottom on it, and that's what goes inside the tent. But on the outside, what we use is an underquilt.
And that's down, or what?
This is a down. This is a 20-degree bag made by War Bonnet as well.
Yeah.
And it just bungees right underneath the hammock. So it insulates you from underneath.
Wow.
So let me hook this on. It's really easy.
And this is an advantage because you're not then condensing anything by being in the bag in there.
If you were in a normal sleeping bag inside a hammock, anything underneath you would be squished down and not insulating you anymore. It loses its insulation factor when you squish it down like that. So what you do is you insulate from underneath. So I can hop in now. I think it's ready to crawl in.
And then, like you're saying, this is more or less the top of the sleeping bag here.
This is the overquilt. Also a 20-degree bag.
Okay. Sold separately or
by,
together?
Hammock Gear.
Okay,
it's called the Burrow. This is also a 20-degree overquilt.
And you kick your shoes off, huh?
I kick the shoes off. I don't want to track anything in here.
Looking pretty easy to get into, huh?
Zip it up so the bugs don't get in. There's plenty of room in here, as you can see. And this is just a little storage thing that I kind of just threw together myself. I put my reading glasses in there, or sunglasses, or whatever I have in my pockets at the time. And then this overquilt, there's a little foot box that your feet go in, and then just lace kind of at about a 20-degree angle. And as you can see, I'm almost completely flat in here. And look how much room I have up here. The mosquito net is probably a good 12 inches away from my head.
And you're up off the ground.
I'm off the ground.
Is it are you comfortable or what?
I am completely comfortable in here. Nice. I'm telling you, I am much more comfortable than I would be laying in a tent with roots and rocks poking me in the back. And once I get the rain fly over the top of this, like we saw in the other hammock setup, I mean, I'm going to be snug as a bug in here.
Wow, this is cool. This is a pretty lightweight to get this out here, would you say, Kevin? I mean, is this, how much does this stuff weigh that you towed it along here?
So my tent used to weigh about 4, and I had a pretty lightweight tent. It was like 4.5 pounds. And this hammock with the rain fly, underquilt, overquilt comes in at least a pound less than that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's lightweight, and it's more comfortable. It's pretty easy to set up, and it's kind of changed my whole outlook on wilderness camping. I've taken trips to Quetico and the Boundary Waters several times. My wife and I just got back from Wabakimi, and we hammock camped there. Woodland Caribou Provincial Park, and
so the hammock is the way that you've done it there. All these places.
I am pretty certain I'll never sleep in a tent again.
It's on the record. That's official. You heard it here. Hammock camping in the Boundary Waters. Kevin the K-Man Kramer showing us the ropes here, and we appreciate this. And again, if you have any questions about what you saw here, shoot us an email, bwcapodcast@gmail.com. We'll talk hammock camping with you. We'll have Kevin help out, or we'll find somebody who's got the answers. But the idea is give it a shot. It's cool, and we're looking forward to our camping trip in the Boundary Waters and doing some fishing, which we're about to go do right now.
Right on.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. See you guys.